If you're an investor in the Walt Disney Company, if you follow the news about the House of Mouse, you probably have not found out yet that attendance at Walt Disney World is the worst it has been outside of the pandemic years since 2016. You probably also aren't aware that it could get worse, much worse in the years to come. We'll tell you why you might want to think twice about what Bob Iger is projecting, and we'll explain it right now. Hello, folks. We hope you will click that like button as we get underway today with theme park experts who are here to tell you what's really going on with a company that is largely a theme park company. Disney, for all of its many studios and endeavors and streaming, 1/3 of all of its revenue comes from the domestic parks. That's the theme parks. That's Disney World and Disneyland. And if you add in the international parks and experiences, including the cruises, it's half of all their profits. Everything else pales in comparison. And yet Disney is risking it all. We'll explain to you why you might want to check before you cash a check for Disney stock. Although no financial advice will happen here, you might want to keep this information very near. It's not such a happy and joyful time with Disney, and that's because 2024 is now shaping up to be the worst non-pandemic year for Disney in terms of attendance since 2016. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, folks, remember that 2020 and 2021 were very strange. And so we really don't count those. But we have this from Thrill Data, or data, potato, right? And they what they do is they take every single posted wait time from Disney and they aggregate that into charts so that we can take a look and approximate what attendance is looking like. And so if you look at this right side of the chart, you'll notice a decline. Right? Each one of those crests and valleys is dropping over time. And that's because we presume and assume that attendance is dropping over time. Now, each one of these bars is set up to be a month, right? And so we can take a look at right now, and you can see that in November of 2024, as of right now, and we're basically done with the month, the average wait time is 30 minutes. And if we go back to the prior November, you can see it was 35 minutes. And if you go back to the prior November before that, you can see that it's 41 minutes. Well, gosh darn it. Even the November from 2021, when things were weird, was still apparently more attended than now. And that, by the way, comes on the heels of a report from Marvin. And Marvin, who was the source on this one? Who had the source that said that wait times, they did a study and they found that they were as much as tripled? Who had that?
It was our buddy Josh.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. And so he was reporting that he did a little study. He did some research on this and found that the wait times, at least what he was seeing, could be as much as triply inflated. Now,
300%.
Right. Who knows why Disney would do that? But let's scroll down and take a look at this, because now we're getting the data that shows what we've been talking about in terms of declining attendance at Disney. So we have to remove 2020 and 2021 because everything was covered in plexiglass. And they didn't actually pack you into the line the normal way. You had to have 6 feet of distance and all of that. So you can throw that out because the wait times were weird. But in 2022, the average wait time was 41 minutes. In 2023, the average wait time decreased to 37 minutes. And for this year thus far, the average wait time across all of Disney World is 33 minutes. Mm-hmm. Well, in order to find a year that had worse attendance, we presume, than that, you have to go all the way back to 2016. So, Jay, as you are perusing and cruising through the happiest, most magical places on Earth, do you find, as a seasoned veteran of the theme parks, that they're less crowded for Disney than they were in the past?
Oh, 100%. Easy. They're crowded on, if they are crowded, they were crowded on like the holiday, like the Memorial weekends or something like that. But that goes for every park. But during the rest of the week, there's no need to buy the Lightning Lane things that they're selling right now. And in fact, like I was telling Jonas the other day, it was like, we keep, every time we go there, especially Magic Kingdom, we keep timing ourselves waiting in line, and they are definitely inflating those wait times. It's pretty pathetic. I mean, I can understand being off like 10 minutes when you're off like 35 to 40 minutes sometimes for rides. And we recorded this for park hopping. It's just like something's weird, you know, like they definitely want people to buy that lightning lane because I guess the attendance isn't where they want it to be. So
Well, it feels like to me there's less to do than ever before, right? I mean, maybe that's just my feeling, but when I'm walking across Epcot or Disney's Hollywood Studios, I just feel like I'm in some sort of pedestrian mall. There's nothing to do.
Well, the other thing, the biggest problem for me that I think is because I've had family and friends that come and visit, the difficulty just to get into the park. First of all, like, got to get your tickets, got to get the app set up, you got to get the reservation going, you got to get this hooked up, you got to get that just to get into the park. Unless you're just going to be one of those people that just buy a regular ticket, and you will have a terrible experience if you don't have everything set up the way they have it, that you need to, to set it up. If you want to get that lightning lane, things like that, you got to have the app ready to go. If people that are coming out of town, and they're like, oh, I'd love to ride Tiana's. Well, you can't do that unless you buy a lightning lane. You can't ride Guardians of the Galaxy unless you get that lightning lane, or hope for the best that you wake up at 6 a.m. to get that reservation. But most people don't understand that that's what you have to do.
Right. So this is the thing that gets me, though. The idea that you're supposed to be on vacation, but they're giving you this anxiety about getting it all done, and they're selling this $450 product that if people knew how long the actual lines were, I think they'd be pretty angry about finding out they paid, $450 on top of the price of their ticket for Magic Kingdom. It's less at Animal Kingdom, but there aren't any rides at Animal Kingdom. But that's the one that bugs me right now, because they're selling out. Like Thanksgiving Day, they have sold out all of the Lightning Lane Premier passes right now, and those are they start out like at twice the cost of a ticket. I don't understand.
This is how it works, because we just had family that hasn't been in the Magic Kingdom in like 40 years. They wanted to see it, and I was like, well, okay, if that's what you want. So I went with them to Disney Springs for them to purchase. I think it was Disney Springs for them to purchase tickets to the Magic Kingdom. And the way that they sell it is, I mean, basically they tell you can go to Magic Kingdom and enjoy the castle and stuff, but if you don't have the lightning lane, you're not going to be able to ride all the rides that you want to ride. You're not going to be able to do all this. So it would better for you if you picked it up. Better be safe than sorry. So they practice how to sell that to normies. I guess that's what you call it, or casuals, or whatever. They know better than to sell it to me and Lorena, because we don't play that. So they already know, like, we're annual pass holders, and it's like we know when to go and what we want and what we're going to do. But for the people that are just showing up, they have a great pitch that basically scares them. If you don't get it, then you're going to miss out. So that's why I think a lot of that's selling out. If you want my honest opinion, I think that's why a lot of it's selling out, just because. And then you have people, we've seen it on Twitter and other things, complaining like, I bought this thing and I didn't even need it, and it's like, well, that's your issue, Right. Well, it's just because people don't know. There's no information. They don't know. Like, they don't know. They don't know. Like, they could go on their app and see Pirates of the Caribbean 45-minute wait when actually it's 10 minutes. They like, so casuals don't know. And what you're doing, people that save up money for a year and they're like, well, we're on vacation, let's just spend it all. They're not going to be returning customers in the future. It's just not going to happen, because it's like, what a hassle that was, when I can just go to Universal and go, all right, one ticket, please. There you go. What about fast passes? Yeah, here's a ticket. Here you go. Or, I mean, even SeaWorld at that, they were people were going to SeaWorld and just doing the same thing. Like, they were making the ticketing a lot easier. So time will tell. Like, another year will go by and we'll see, especially with Epic opening, on how short these lines actually are going to be. But there is a movement. I don't know if Lorena has heard this. You guys probably haven't heard this. The Disney adults on Facebook, I guess, I think it's Facebook, where they have their clubs. They are gearing up to make sure that they are all at Magic Kingdom and Epcot the week Epic Universe opens, so Disney doesn't feel the pain of people not being there.
Oh,
Oh,
They're having
God,
people,
insanity.
they're
That's
having
what I was
people
gonna ask
fly
Lorena
in
about
from
today.
all over just to make sure they're at the park. They're like, we got to get it
great.
going. They're raising money for people that can't afford it that will be there. It's quite the spectacular over there.
Well, even at the max, they would make up 1% of the total attendance that they need. But Lorena, I want to ask you about this. Jay is making fantastic points about all of the Genie Plus issues, or I guess now we should call them Lightning Lane, bolty, whoever cares about it, pass. Lorena, if 2024 is the lowest attendance since 2016, and we think it is for non-pandemic years, and investors seem to be largely ignorant of that, do you think that they'll catch on in 2025 when Epic Universe opens, and maybe those forward-looking models Bob Iger talks about don't turn out to be so accurate?
Yeah, I think they will. I know there's a lot of investors who are noticing what's happening. I forget the one guy on the investor calls. He seems to be the only one who asks a question that is just like, okay, yeah, why aren't they doing X, Y, and Z? Your institutional investors, they're not really apt to say anything right now, but they can see what's going on. And Iger's like, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's going to be fine. Because Epic Universe hasn't truly come online yet. Once Epic Universe comes online next year and people start going, they will be faced with the truth. You will see hard numbers. You will see people going. You have people, Helios, I think, is booked up for like 6 months, I want to say. And when you start seeing people shift the home base of their vacation from Disney to Universal, they can't ignore that anymore.
Absolutely.
And their models will have to change.
Marvin, do you think we're going to see a huge change when Epic Universe lands? Like, I'm starting to think now that it actually has a chance of legitimately beating Disney in 2026. What say you?
I do. I think that what you're going to start seeing in Disney is when you go to a Disney park, it's going to be a lot of annual pass holders who, are probably also Universal annual pass holders who can't get into Epic. And it's going to be a lot of folks from like Europe and overseas that have had their Disney vacations planned for, years at this point. But I think that a lot of the American vacationers, a lot of the American families, they're going to be splitting the week in half, I think is what's going to happen, because now that Epic Universe is only available with a 3 to 5 day ticket, only one of which is Epic Universe, it doesn't make sense to Uber from your Disney resort over to Universal for 3 days or even 5 days. You're going to want to split your week. You're going to want to do, 3 days in a Universal resort, 3 days in a Disney resort. And then maybe because of that, maybe you stay at the Helios, and then maybe instead of staying at the Caribbean Beach Resort, you stay at All Star Music. So it's a big question. And you know what? I think that as word of mouth gets around for Epic Universe, it's going to get even worse, because a lot of people, I think, right now are also going to keep going to Disney out of habit or out of a sense of brand loyalty. But you're not going to be able to argue the quality. I mean, we were just on Extra Magic Hour last night over on TPP. We were looking at all the Donkey Kong stuff, and I was just like, you can't compare. They've got nothing that compares. Nothing. And nothing that's coming compares to it.
Well, let's ask Lauren. Lauren, Disney wants you to go visit their parks. Universal wants you to visit their parks. You, I don't think, have any kind of brand loyalty to one or the other. So my question is, Lauren, for you and your family, is Princess Peach, is her castle now more tempting than Cinderella's?
For me, it comes down to cost and hassle. And the last time I went to Disneyland was in 2014. I had a great time. I've actually always enjoyed Disneyland. I've never actually been to Disney World. A couple of years ago, I did get to go to Universal Orlando and had a fantastic time. Everything that I've heard about Disney in the last few years is it's such a hassle to figure out how you're going to get in to see what you want to see, and it's so expensive. It scared me off. It's like I would love to go back to one of the Disney properties, but it seems to me like it's just not worth it. Epic Universe interests me, so it would probably, it would grab me if I had the time and the money to do so, but I don't want to have a hassle. I just want to book everything, be able to go, have a good time, and not worry about getting a lightning lane pass or the GD stuff. I don't want to be constantly looking at my phone and then paying for all these extras that I don't actually get to use.
There's Galaxy's Edge, Lauren. There's Galaxy's Edge, and you can have non-dairy blue milk. Come on.
Sounds really good to me. Yeah.
Yep. Lukewarm Fruity Pebble liquid water mixture.
You don't want it. It's nasty.
The Hollyweirds don't understand how it is we do what we do, bringing you video after video every single day of the utmost highest excellence and quality. But folks, we do it because of you. We appreciate you. You are seen and heard here on the Pro Channel. Make your voices heard, folks, by doing one last thing before we say goodbye for a short time. Consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, and you know what? That notification bell, click it and stick it to the algorithms. Also, drop a comment down below and let us know your thoughts. And don't forget, folks, we've got even more content on the way. If you'd like to become a member, it's just the price of a soda per month, and you'll gain access to all kinds of exclusive content beyond what the public sees, including archival footage of the Pro Show that goes away after just a few days from its public release. Folks, we hope we get the honor of spending time with you again soon, and until then, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.